How do you increase your chances of partnership as a 6 sensory seeking partnership from a 5 sensory? You can increase your chances by following these different categories and understanding the elements that go into them, because this is how 5 sensories make snap decisions about how you're going to fit into their lives. They put you in a category quite quickly, and it's based on 2 factors. The first one is attractiveness, and we'll come back to this and talk about it a little bit more. The second is your personality, and again, we'll talk about that too. These 2 elements mix in different ways, and they go into 4 categories, which will help a 5 sensory evaluate you quickly and maybe within 5 seconds of meeting you. And then they'll make a decision about what role you're going to play in their life. So the first category is you have neither attractiveness nor a good personality. If that's the case, this 5 sensory is probably just going to ignore you and be on their merry way. They're not going to pay much mind to you if you're falling into that category. The way to get out of that category first, I would say, is to work on your personality. Be an interesting person, be engaging, have great conversations, think for yourself. I would argue to work on that one first, and it's not everything that you need in a relationship. You will need to come back to the attractiveness piece, and we'll go back to that topic in a minute. But I would say the personality one is more important because that allows you to create friendships that can be sustained. Now, having said that, everybody's heard of the friendship category. It's not exactly a good thing when you're looking for a partner. Having said that, it is a starting point where at least you're building quality relationships with people and you're building a network and a community. And so I believe that building up your personality is a very important stepping stone to finding your partner. And I would say it's more important, at least for long-term sustained relationships, than your attractiveness. Having said that, I think there are a lot of people in this category who also have very interesting personalities, great things to say at parties, but they don't look so good. You know, maybe their health is suffering, they're not exercising, they're not eating properly, they're eating candy, or they're smoking weed all the time, and they might be a really smart, wonderful person, but they're not really engaging with you in a way that's flirtatious or building up to any kind of romantic relationship. So you just have no idea that they're even potential to be a partner. You just see them as a friend. And so you want to bridge that gap by bringing in attractiveness as well. And attractiveness is quite tricky because you can get put into the category of a hookup rather than a long-term relationship if you don't get the attractive category right. And you have to have a good balance between attractiveness and a good personality, and that's how you get yourself into the long-term partnership category. Having said that, as simple as that sounds, it's easier said than done. I would say the key to attractiveness is you have to be attractive for you. You have to feel good in whatever you're choosing to wear or choosing to put on or choosing to consume. When you feel good about the things that you're doing in your life, your physical exercise, your diet, your activities with other people that are social, the way that you show up in your appearance, the way that you're taking good care of yourself, those are the things that make you attractive as a person, in my opinion. But every single person may have a slightly different definition of attractiveness. I think ultimate sexiness is that you live and align with the values that you believe in. So if you believe in being your authentic self and showing up for that, rather than seeking approval from another person, then your attractiveness definition is going to be very different from a person who's purely seeking approval from others. You've seen those people on Instagram. They're dressed scantily clad and they're trying to get all the likes and the comments, and you can just tell that they're living for other people's attention and approval. It's very sad, but what they don't realize is instead of bringing in partners when they're engaging in this kind of activity, is they're bringing in a lot of people who just want to hook up with them and discard them, which is incredibly sad. It shouldn't be that way. However, that's the energy you're giving out when you really focus too much on attractiveness and not enough on your personality. I would say personality is number one and should come first. Having said that, you need a little bit of spice, you need a little bit of zing, because the 5 sensory can be quite superficial. So if you don't have anything attractive about you that you can put forward, then the 5 sensory just might see you as a hookup or a friend, you know? If you're like partially attractive, like you feel attractive about one part of your body, but then you don't feel that same way about another part of your body, then you may give off mixed signals and you may end up in the hookup category again, right? But having said that, the way a lot of people get trapped in the hookup categories, they focus mostly on their attractiveness and they don't put any effort into learning new things about people or learning new things about life. And when they don't make that effort to grow, that's when they don't have any personality. They don't have any real intellectual grit or intuitive spiritual connection. Like, both are very different ways of connecting with the world and having personality, but both can be extremely sexy in their own ways. And you need both, really. Even if you're very intuitive, it's good to grow intellectually. Even the greatest intuitives I know study master's degrees and continue studying when they are already accomplished in their area of expertise. And it's because that's part of their personality, right? And so that, in my opinion, is the more important thing that has substance. And if you really do engage in a long-term partnership, when you think about it, everybody loses their youth as soon as they age. And so that part of their attractiveness goes away. But if you have other parts of your personality that are very attractive as a person, then people will continue gravitating towards you. I can think of this neighbor that my parents are actually friends with, who will go and talk to university students sometimes, and the university students like him. Even though he's more senior, they're quite attracted to his energy because they like the things that he talks about and the things that he has to say. He has good energy and he's fun to be around. And so attractiveness doesn't have to 100% go away when you get older, but some of that youth and energy does go away. And so you have to replace that with some other form of attractiveness as you age. You have to have something that intrigues people, something that brings people to you. And then you're more likely to get the partnership. Attractiveness is really more of an energy than it is a look. So imagine you have a crooked nose and you think, I can't attract anybody because I have this crooked nose. Just look for actors and actresses who also have a crooked nose. You will find them and they will have a big following of people who are attracted to them. And you'll understand that really anything that you consider a defect can actually turn into an asset for you when you look at it the right way. Attracting a 5 sensory as a 6 sensory is not a one-time event. You don't just do it once, get married anymore, and then they're your partner for life. As you may know, divorce is very, very popular these days, and so you don't want to end up on the wrong side of divorce. And how do you do that? You have to continue to develop your attractiveness and your personality in a marriage. You always have to be growing and working on yourself, even when you think you are secure in a marriage, because you just don't know when a tsunami or a life tragedy is going to come and somebody's going to divorce you these days. Even very popular, influential people have suffered divorces. And so none of us are really immune. As committed as we are and as much as we want and value to keep the relationship alive for life, and we may even come from a religion or a spiritual background like that, the truth is the other person can always engage that option. The only way you can really protect yourself is by continuing to value yourself, continuing to grow, and continuing to be attractive. And if people are going to play games on you, sometimes you do need the backbone to walk away. And ironically, that backbone to walk away is actually the thing that saves your relationship. Now, some people may question me on that and say, marriage is supposed to be for life, or long-term commitments will unravel if you threaten them. And of course, don't threaten to walk away. That's not what I mean. What I mean is if the other person is really playing a nasty game on you and you need to walk away, then just walk away and do it. Because when you walk away, it's not the same as threatening the relationship. You're not going, oh, you're such a bad person and I'm going to leave if you don't change. What you're doing is you're not even talking that much. You're just seeing the bad behavior for what it is and taking a step back and taking steps to get ready to divorce or whatever you need to do. Ironically, what happens when people see you respecting yourself, if they have any integrity or any value as a person, what they'll realize is that they are actually behaving badly and they need to correct themselves. And then that's the thing that actually saves your relationship. Whereas if you continue allowing their bad behavior, it will just keep getting worse and more abusive until things destruct in a really nasty way.